What if an AI didn't have to learn everything from scratch every single time? What if it could take what it learned from one job and just apply it to a totally new one? Well, that's the big idea behind what we're talking about today, one of the smartest shortcuts in AI called transfer learning.
So here's the plan. First, we're going to break down what transfer learning even is. Then, we'll get into its secret sauce, this core idea of representations. After that, we'll see it in action with some pretty wild examples. And finally, we'll cover exactly why and when it's so darn useful.
All right, let's dive right in. What are we actually talking about when we say transfer learning? Okay, so the official definition sounds a little, academic, but the idea is actually super simple. It's all about reusing knowledge. An AI learns something in one situation, and then it cleverly uses that learning in a brand new one. It's not starting from a blank slate. It's building on what it already knows.
Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine you train an AI to tell the difference between cats and dogs. To do that, it has to learn some basic concepts, right? It has to figure out what things like fur, ears, and eyes are. That's its foundational knowledge. So now, when you ask it to classify something totally different, like ants and wasps, it doesn't have to start from zero. It can transfer that core understanding of visual features to the new task, which makes the whole process way more efficient.
So that leads to the really big question, right? How does an AI actually do this? How can it just package up knowledge from one thing and use it for another? Let's get into the core idea of how this whole thing works.
The real secret sauce here is creating what's called a representation. So instead of just memorizing what a cat looks like, the AI learns the concept of pointy ears or furry texture. It learns these fundamental features, this kind of abstract representation that can be useful for all sorts of different jobs, not just the first one.
And this diagram really helps you picture what's happening. You have an input, and it gets processed into this central shared hub of knowledge, a single powerful representation. Then from that one hub, the AI can branch out and solve a bunch of different tasks. This is the heart of its efficiency. You learn one core understanding, and then you can apply it to all sorts of problems. Okay, so we know what it is and we have the theory down, but just how powerful is this in practice? Well, this is where things get really interesting. We're talking about taking efficiency to the absolute extreme. Just check out these two incredible applications. First up, you've got one-shot learning. This is where an AI can learn a brand new category from just a single example. And then there's the even more mind-bending version, zero-shot learning, where it can identify something it has literally never ever seen before.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. How on earth is that even possible? How can you learn to identify something with absolutely no examples to go on?
Well, here's the trick. It's kind of like magic, but it's the magic of transferring knowledge between different types of data. See, the AI might have been trained on a massive amount of text. So even if it's never seen a picture of a cat, if it has read millions of descriptions of what cats look like, it can use that text knowledge to identify a cat in an image for the very first time. It's connecting the dots between completely different worlds of information.
This all sounds pretty amazing, I know, but let's get practical for a minute. Why should we really care, and when does this technique actually make a big difference?
So, in what kinds of situations is this powerful tool the most useful? What's the real-world payoff here? The benefits are just huge. First off, models get way better at handling new, unseen situations. Second, and this one is a total game changer, it drastically cuts down on the need for labeled data. I mean, think about a field like medical imaging, where getting expert-labeled scans is super rare and expensive. Transfer learning can make progress possible where it just wouldn't be otherwise. And finally, it just means you get better results faster.
At the end of the day, when you boil it all down, transfer learning is really about making AI a little more like us. We don't have to relearn the laws of physics every time we pick up a new object, right? We build on a lifetime of knowledge, and that's what transfer learning gives to AI, that same powerful ability to build on its past.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to chew on. If an AI can learn to recognize a new animal from just a text description, or master a whole new task from just one example, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's the next complex skill it's going to pick up, seemingly overnight?